If you're watching this video, probably you're looking for a solution that could protect your KVM servers with usual snapshot-based way to back up your virtual machines. So my name is Marcin Kubacki, and today I'm going to show you how to protect them with Storware solution. Let me start with a backup process, okay? So I'm logging as the administrator to the console. And first of all, what I'm seeing is actually a dashboard, okay? So vProtect consists of two main components. First is the server, and it handles basically the job scheduling. It offers API, web interface, so it's a brain of the solution. And later you have data movers. You can have multiple of them. So if you have more KVM servers, you're able to scale easily by adding multiple nodes, okay? So in this dashboard, I'm seeing that I have 3 nodes with some basic staging space statistics. I see my data protection success rate, I see some last backups, and what currently is the situation as far as the protection is concerned and as far as the free space available on my backup destinations is concerned. So I'm going to the hypervisor section. This is where you are able to define multiple KVM servers. By KVM servers, we mean standalone KVM servers. So if you have a bunch of servers that are not managed by any sort of solution like OVIRT, or recently actually announced Oracle Linux Virtualization Manager, then that's actually what we are actually considering in here. So vProtect asks for the credentials of the hypervisor. It needs some IP address like 1234, whatever, username, password, and that's it. So once you define the hypervisors, you're able to index, well, to synchronize inventory on the hypervisor. By synchronizing inventory, I mean, well, collecting information about your virtual machines, virtual machine disks, available storage, and actually this kind of metadata. So I have one KVM server in here, KVM OVH local. So whenever I press inventory synchronization button, it basically creates a task. Everything in vProtect is treated as a task, so it has submitted index task to the server and basically node connected to your hypervisor and collected this information. Now, once you complete the inventory synchronization, well, it is also being done periodically, from time to time automatically, so you don't have to worry about it. You are going to virtual environment section. This is the place where you are going to see all of your virtual machines that are available to be backed up. So let me just filter out. I have one CentOS machine that actually is prepared here today for a demo. I'm initiating backup by just pressing the button and choosing backup destination. So that's a good moment to explain that vProtect supports multiple backup destinations. You can have either just plain file system, but you can also store backups into the cloud, some object storage that you have, or enterprise-grade backup solutions like Networker, like IBM Spectrum Protect, or whatever else you have. So with just using vProtect, you're able to connect both your infrastructure that is using KVM standalone servers, not only of course, and store later these backups in some backup destinations that you either already have or they are just convenient for you to be set. vProtect can also act as a standalone solution. So basically this means that if you're able to just plug in some storage that you have, we are able to use the duplication on top of this storage and initialize it so it will optimize your backups without the need to waste any sort of storage. So in our case, I'll start with some full backup to the Networker, and this is two-step process. Basically, vProtect needs to have the first step is to export data from the KVM server to the staging space, and later data is being pushed to your backup solution. The only exception is actually file system, because vProtect is flexible in this case, and allows you to join together staging space that I have already mentioned together with backup destination. So if it's only just big enough, you're able to use it in the same way, and you don't need actually this additional copying of the data as the second step. If you look into the console, basically export task has just started, and now as far as KVM is concerned, I know that you are able to set it up in many different ways. So we are focusing here on KVM host that basically hosts the virtual machines on the QCOW2 based files. This allows you to have both full backup and incremental backup support. We also support LVM based storage, so if you have a volume group prepared for your virtual machines and you're exposing drives to the virtual machines using LVM, that is also going to work. Just full backups only are then supported. Obviously, you are not going to backup manually your virtual machines, so the next step would commonly be to prepare your policies and schedules according to your needs. So in Policies tab, you're able to define backup, snapshot management, and application backup policies. I will explain the latter later. In virtual environment backup, when you are going to the details of each particular policy, you're able to specify priority of the backups initiating for this particular group of virtual machines. You're able to automatically assign your virtual machines based on the names. For KVM, well, KVM doesn't have tags support yet. You're able to manually assign such VMs, and you obviously need to specify where it should, where should your backups be stored. How often do you want to have your backups executed, and optionally, if you have more and more virtual machines growing over time, actually you're able to specify that if in some rare cases, if your backup destination becomes unavailable, maybe if some percentage of your backups fails, you're able to fail the rest of them, so you don't have to initiate backups that are going to fail anyway. You define schedules in the Schedule tab, so basically you're able to divide virtual machines into several groups. And when you're creating a schedule, you need to specify type of the backup and obviously assign policies, which policies this particular schedule is going to be covered. Apart from just regular time-based schedule, you're able also to define interval-based. That's especially important for snapshot management capability, not supported for regular KVM, but it is supported for, let's say, rev-based. Or let's say OVIRT or other KVMs that are managed by the hypervisor managers. Finally, backup destination. So we have talked about the source, we have talked about what can be done as far as the scheduling policies is concerned, and you want to store somewhere your backups. So for particular policy, you need to specify where this backup should go, but it doesn't really mean that you cannot store backups in multiple places. You can have, let's say, file system and maybe S3 or maybe some enterprise-grade backup solution. So vProtect allows you to use many different types of storage or backup providers, starting with regular file system and ending by the on-object storage, cloud-based storage, or enterprise-grade storage that you have already available. File system backup destination is the one that is the most flexible. It allows you to use not only local file system but also remote one, and with using the duplication feature you're able to optimize your data. So if you are able to just expose a single device that we are able to initialize video on, then it will automatically be initialized for you and you will be ready to store your backups. Okay, so probably you have already noticed that at the bottom of the screen we have green indicator, so backup has already finished. As you can see, export task has just after export task, data had to be stored, so the store task has been also invoked, and now we are able to restore virtual machine. So here in the virtual environment section, let me just browse for this virtual machine. I'm able to specify, do I want to restore just files of the virtual machine, in this case virtual machine disks and metadata, or I want to restore it directly to hypervisor. So in our case, I would like this virtual machine to be restored directly to the KVM hypervisor. I have selected other storage, so the hypervisor storage that is presented here on this list is usually volume groups that are available on the hypervisor. In our case, it's QCOW2 files based, so basically we want to put these files to the original location. And actually we can use generated name. So let me just invoke restore task, and in the meantime I'll show you file level restore, because I already have one mounted backup available, which allows you basically to have file level restore for KVM environments. You go to the details, and here when you click browse, you're able to browse files directly from the web interface and restore individual files just by selecting them and downloading directly to your desktop. If you have more data to be copied, maybe some gigabytes of data, maybe tons of small files, you can also just go directly to the node where you have mounted your backup and copy data directly from there. Before I proceed with the restore process, actually I can show you history of previous backups. So here in the virtual machine details, I see that there are some backups that periodically has been done, their sizes, each backup's size and time, how long did it took. Especially that we split into several phases, you're able to find some bottlenecks. Maybe your export phase takes too long, maybe your backup destination is working slow. At the bottom of the screen there are a few tabs. You see backup history, you're able to browse through the backups, you're able to see which file systems have been detected, download logs of each of these backup, and exclude individual drives from the virtual machine, so you don't have to backup complete virtual machine. You can specify which disks should not be included in the backup. And finally, if you go to the settings, you're able to handle quiescing of your backup, especially related to the snapshotting process. vProtect allows you to execute custom command before and after snapshot takes place, so you're able to quiesce, resume your database, for instance. In order to do that, you just need to provide SSH credentials, this time to your virtual machine. Quite often we get questions around the SSH authentication, so you're able to not only use regular credentials, you're able also to provide keys to your virtual environment or to your hypervisor if needed. Now let's go back and restore virtual machine. So I'm filtering the list with KVM keyword right now, and I'm going to click restore button. Okay, so we have successfully restored virtual machine. This is also a two-step process. Basically, we need to fetch data from your external backup provider. In this case, it's a networker. And later we need to push data towards your hypervisor. So in our case, we have restore task and import task presented here at the bottom of the screen. So let's go to the hypervisor. Here is my KVM server, and I'm using virsh command to get the list of the virtual machine. So here we go, you have CentOS restored with current date, so it's actually a snapshot time at 11:51, and it's ready to be powered on. Last but not least, let me just go to the applications. Here, if you would like to enhance your backup operations, you are able to use your current either custom scripts or native commands with application backup mechanism. There is already available another video, just focus on the application backup, so just go there and watch the details about how this mechanism works. But just remember that it is also an enhancement that you could use with your KVM environments. Okay, to sum up, KVM can be protected in many different ways. With vProtect, you're able to use snapshot-based backups, store these backups to multiple backup destinations, including clouds, your enterprise-grade, well, existing enterprise-grade solutions in your data center, or just file system and basically any sort of storage that you have. You can have more consistent backup with the pre-post snapshot command execution. You can exclude drives if needed, or if you would like to protect particular application or config files, you're able to use application backup mechanism. If you need, you're also able to restore individual files, so it's not only about whole virtual machine protection. Thank you for today and stay tuned!